Imagine this. You survive a war, you flee your home, cross an ocean, finally land in a country you think will give you safety, peace, and a chance to rebuild. But instead, your story ends in tragedy, on the very streets you thought would protect you. That's exactly what happened to 46-year-old Kateryna Daryna. And trust me, this story is going to stick with you. Kateryna wasn't just another face in the crowd. She was a fighter, a survivor. Back in Ukraine, she had already endured the chaos of a war tearing her country apart. Like so many others, she made the heartbreaking choice to leave everything familiar behind. Her friends, her home, even pieces of her identity, because survival was more important than comfort. She arrives in the US hoping to start over, to build a safer future. Think about how heavy that must have felt, carrying the weight of war trauma while trying to smile in a new country. Now here's where the nightmare begins. Instead of finding the safety she deserved, Kateryna's life was cut short in a way no one should ever experience. One night in Philadelphia, in 2024, she was brutally stabbed to death. And not by some faceless stranger in the shadows, but by a man she knew, a man she had once trusted, her own roommate. Just let that sink in for a second. She escaped bombs, only to be killed inside the very home she thought was her refuge. Police later revealed that the suspect, a 28-year-old man, had been living with her in the same house. What sparked the attack? An argument. Something so small, so painfully human, escalated into violence that ended her life. One fight, one reckless decision, and everything she survived before became meaningless in an instant. And that's what makes this story hit so much harder. Now I know some of you watching this might be thinking, how could this happen here? In America? Isn't this the place people run to for safety? Exactly. That's the painful irony. Refugees come here hoping for peace. But what happens when the violence they tried to escape just finds them again, in a different form? And honestly, pause for a second. If you're not subscribed yet, I have to ask, why? Why do you keep watching these heartbreaking stories, feeling the weight of them, but not clicking that button to stay connected? If you're going to witness the truth with me, don't just sit on the sidelines. Hit subscribe, because stories like Kateryna's deserve to be remembered. Okay, back to Kateryna. After her death, the local community was devastated. Neighbors described her as kind, quiet, and always trying to make the best out of a bad situation. Imagine the courage it takes to start over in a country where you might not even know the language, the customs, or the people. And still, she tried, she worked, she lived, she smiled. That's what makes her story so gut-wrenching. Her killer didn't just take her life, he robbed the world of everything she could have become. And here's where it gets even darker. When police arrived, Kateryna's body was discovered in her own bedroom. She had multiple stab wounds, clear signs of a violent struggle. This wasn't a quiet end. It was loud, it was terrifying, and it was cruel. I want you to really picture this for a second. A woman who fled war zones, who probably had flashbacks of sirens and explosions, ended up fighting for her life in the one place she thought she was safe, her home. If that doesn't shake you, I don't know what will. And here's the part that really eats at me. Violence against women, especially immigrant women, refugees, and those without strong support networks, isn't rare. It happens more than we talk about. Too often, the system fails them. Too often, their stories fade into statistics. And that's why we're talking about Kateryna today, because her life mattered. But let me stop here and ask you something. How do you feel when you hear stories like this? Do you feel angry? Do you feel helpless? Or maybe it makes you look at your own community and wonder, what can we do to protect people like Kateryna? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because we need more than silence if things are ever going to change. And listen, if you're still not subscribed, then explain it to me. You sat through this story, you felt the weight of Kateryna's tragedy, and you still haven't clicked that button? Be honest with yourself. Is it because you don't think stories like this matter? Or is it because you're waiting for someone else to take action first? Don't wait. Subscribe now. Be part of remembering the people who can't speak for themselves anymore. Kateryna's story is a reminder that survival isn't just about escaping war zones. It's about what comes after, finding safety, building trust, and being protected in the places that promise refuge. But when that promise is broken, the loss is unbearable. Not just for her family, not just for her community, but for all of us. So the next time you hear about refugees, about immigrants, about people fleeing danger, don't just think about the journey out. Think about the life they deserve once they get here. And think about Kateryna Daryna, a woman who had already survived so much, only to be betrayed by violence one last time. Her name shouldn't fade. And as long as we keep saying it, as long as we keep telling her story, she won't. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think needs to change so tragedies like this stop repeating? Drop your thoughts below. And remember, don't just scroll past stories like this. Share them. Talk about them. Because silence never saved anyone. If you're still here, thank you. Let's keep Kateryna's story alive together.